Hello everybody, it's Vincent Grasso here, and guess what today is? Today is something you all been waiting for. It's my full review video of the Orcam My Eyes 2.0. Let's get this started.
Orcam My Eye version 8 is ready. Battery is 87% charged.
Oh yeah. Well, welcome back everybody, and I just wanted you to know I am so excited for this video. It was a long time coming, and I just have so much to say about the Orcam device. And I know a lot of my subscribers have asked me a lot of questions about the Orcam. So I wanted to make sure that the video had all the information, and I didn't want to do any disinformation, and I wanted to throw this device the justice it deserves. So I'm letting you know ahead of time, not everything in this video is going to be here for you. Why? Because I'm doing this video on the Orcam in 3 separate parts. First will be my full review, like what do I think about the Orcam device after using it for a few months now, and the pros and cons. Then video 2 is going to be me showing you every single thing the Orcam device can do. We're going to go in it in each order, and I'm not only going to show you, I'm going to explain and audio describe to you how to do it properly. So that will be video 2. And then video 3 will be settings. Now, this is something that every person I know that either wants an Orcam or just got one that I know asks me the same thing, like the settings. So it can be a little hard at first, but once you know it, it's really easy. And that's what I'm going to do in the part 3 of the video. I'm going to actually go through all the settings on camera, and I'm going to audio describe how I'm doing it, and you're going to hear the Orcam itself audio describing and so forth. And hopefully I have all the content needed for a proper Orcam video. So this is the biggest task I've done on my channel yet, and I want to do it justice. So let me know in the comments below if you think there's anything I missed or anything I should add. Just let me know. I worked very hard on these videos, and well, this one in particular I haven't really finished yet, but I have done lots of stuff before this video already. So let's get into it right now. So, what do I think of the Orcam device, the 2.0 edition? Well, I think it's, how can I say this without being rude? It's amazing! So, I think everybody, honestly, my honest opinion about the Orcam device is that I think that we'd have a lot more people in jobs, we'd have a lot more people less depressed. I'm not saying it's going to solve your depression issues. However, even if you're a person with dyslexia or other types of issues, which I could try to mention, but right now this is about visual impairment and blindness, this device could benefit you so much. So why do I say this? Because I tried so hard when I loved my job so much that I fully wanted to retire doing what I was doing. And when I started losing my vision, I was devastated that I wasn't going to be able to do that job anymore. When it finally occurred to me that I was going to lose my job, it knocked me on my butt. And you know, I tried everything to keep that job. I tried the e-sight glasses, which did not work for me. I didn't like those at all, but that's just my opinion. I know others that, you know, enjoy them very much. But for me, my vision loss and for what I needed them for, it was a no-go for me. So the Orcam device, I will say, is awesome, and I really loved it. It has been a life changer for me in certain ways. Well, how? To the fact that I don't have to make my eyes do all the work when they're not properly working in the first place. I instead of me relying on an electronic device or me trying to make my eyes work, I said, you know, I didn't give up. I just said, you know, take a break. Maybe this device will take away that need to try to strain my eyes, you know, and it did exactly that. So when I have the Orcam on and I go to, say, I had a Subway experience. My first experience with a menu at a sub shop was a Subway. I went there with my wife, and I was you're standing a good, 10 to 15 feet away from that sign? I pointed at it, and it read everything on the Subway menu in the back. Everything. Nothing was not read. It read it. But there's times where I'll read something far away like that, and it won't pick up everything. But it's hit or miss. It's an electronic device. It can't be perfect, depending on light changes and just certain types of text and so forth. But it did that, and the fact that I could go to the grocery store with my wife, instead of just trying to play the guess it game and pick something up and try to see if it's a picture of green beans on it or corn or whatever, and not be able to read all the writing on it, I have the Orcam. I can either point at the can or I can just point at the barcode. Yes, it doesn't know every barcode, but it knows a lot of barcodes, and it just makes your life so much easier. It's less stress on you and your mind. It's just a good feeling to feel a little bit more normal. So, I love it for that aspect. Now, what are the pros and cons of this device? So, let's start. 1, it takes a lot of stress off your eyes. Just how I mentioned already. It really does. To know that I can rely on this device to see a face of somebody I know without me having to search or say, honey, who was that I was talking to? So if it's a friend you can put over 100 or more people on this device, and it will accurately determine whose face it's seeing. And the camera has a very wide spectrum. 2, this device reads text almost flawlessly. It's insane how good it can read text. I can read a whole book no problem if I wanted to, and this thing will read it accurately and everything. However, it won't read cursive, and depending on what type of text it is, it might give you a little bit of gibberish at times. But it's not really a con. I'm not even adding it. The thing is, it reads almost flawlessly anything I throw at it, and I like that. So the text reading is on the mark. That is like the pro tooltip of this whole device, is it reads really well. So, and we'll get more into that in the next videos. 3, it helps with confidence. It helps tremendously with confidence. I don't feel half as weird. Yes, this thing is on the side of your head, and yes, you might feel like a cyborg yourself at first, but really, I hadn't noticed I have a hard time seeing people, but however, I haven't noticed anybody really looking at it or asking me about it or any of those things above. It really just hasn't happened, and it's just made a difference for me over time. But I've learned, when I got my white cane, I was embarrassed to even carry that thing around, and I learned how to get over that. So the same thing with the Orcam device. You learn to get over the embarrassment of having some weird device on your head or in your hand or whatever. It doesn't matter. If it makes your life easier, then use it, right? Utilize it. It would be stupid not to, just because of what other people think. So I just learned to not care what other people think anyway, and I don't go even trying to look for people. But nobody's asked me questions about it. Nobody ever seemed to, I don't feel like people are staring at me. I just use it, and it does its job like it's supposed to. And that has been a game changer in my life for me. It hasn't made my whole life different, but it's definitely improved my lifestyle. So I'm not so dependent on my wife. Say we're at a restaurant and there's a menu, I can legit just read that menu by pointing at it. It's awesome. So I don't have to have my wife explaining to me what's on the menu, and the waitress come up and say, are you guys ready yet? And we have to say every 2 minutes, no, give us a couple more minutes, because my wife hasn't even gotten to her own meal yet. So it's definitely helps with confidence. I feel more like a person. Number 4, it's very lightweight, and you almost forget that you have it on. Like, for me at least, this device is small and it's very lightweight. I just get to the point where at first I could feel it. Yes, you put on the glasses, you feel like your glasses is going to sag just a little, but eventually as long as you got a nice pair of glasses, the ones that come with it are pretty nice pair of shades, except they're kind of on the girlyish side. So I went and bought a similar pair that look like Ray-Bans for $40 at Walmart, and they even gave them to me with the plastic lenses inside. Future reference for you people. They left them in there. They cleaned off the little, thing on the lens that says, the company name or whatever, or it's just a decal, and they peeled it off and cleaned it. So for $40, I got a really nice pair of glasses, and I attached the clips that come with the magnetic clips that come with the kit, and I attached them to my eyeglasses, and they're tight as a drum. My Orcam doesn't move, doesn't drift, nothing. I walk through the stores, everything, I forget the Orcam is even there. No joke. It is, you will all feel the same way. It's gonna end up being like a third arm or just a third eye, for instance, and it's going, you're just not gonna notice it. Next, number 5, it reads multi-languages. It is a bilingual device. Very cool, because I tested this because I come from a bilingual family. I'm Sicilian, but my family, believe it or not, I grew up speaks Greek. So me, I'm not I don't speak Greek fluently, but I understand a lot of Greek and everything. And I tested at my aunt's house, brochures that were in Greek and magazines were in Greek, and Orcam read it all just fine. I thought it was pretty fantastic and awesome. Even my father and my aunt were just flabbergasted over this device. Number 6, normalcy. Okay, I don't even know if that is a word. However, I'm using it because if there's anything I want in my life as a visually impaired individual, is I want to feel as normal as I used to feel. Not saying we're not normal individuals. We're all normal. But you kind of get to the point where, I've been visually impaired for 2 years. And anything that makes me feel like a sighted individual is normalcy for me. It's almost nostalgic now. And I hate to say that, but it's true. So anything that I do that I probably could have done when I was sighted that I haven't been able to do in the last 2 years, if there's anything that can make me do that, like pick up a book and read it, even despite me not reading it with my human eyes, picking up that book and feeling the book in my hand, turning the page when I know I'm done with it, and going to the next page, even though this Orcam's reading it to me in my ear, that's normalcy. Even if it's only 10%, that's more normal than I was yesterday or the day before that. Okay, that's more normal than I've been in the last 2 years of my life as a visually impaired blind individual. So I told you the pros, now I'm going to tell you the cons. Now, don't let the cons send you off from this device, because I'm going to tell you right now, the device is still worth it even with all the cons. But there are cons, and I'm going to tell you right now. So number 1, the first con I have to say is battery life is horrendous on this thing. You're lucky to get 20 to 30 minutes on it. And that's if this, when you take it out of the box, all the settings are, like for me, all the settings were set to automatic. So automatic barcode reading, automatic bill reading where it reads your dollar bills, so note detection. So all these things run down the battery because the camera is constantly functioning, and that depletes the battery. However, I did find ways to turn those settings off, which will be in one of my next videos on this device. But I found another option to fix it. So what I did was I bought an external battery pack. Like an external battery you would use to charge your cell phone or any other device you have, or say something you wanted to use in the car on the go. And I bought one at Walmart for like $9. It was less, it was like $8.88. And I purchased that. And that worked great. In fact, that will keep the device running for over 8 hours straight. No problems. And then that worked out for me really well. The cord that came with the device is not that long. It's only 3 feet, but 3 feet is actually long enough to go from my glasses through my shirt down into a pocket where I could hold the external battery pack. And it didn't bother me at all, turning my head or anything, didn't fall off, nothing. And you don't have to worry about breaking anything, because the cool thing about the Orcam device is the battery wire is a magnetic wire that doesn't plug in, so we don't have to push anything into the Orcam to plug it, like a USB or USB-C or a mini USB plug. It's just a magnetic clip that just clips onto the back of the Orcam device and charges it successfully. So that is a con. The battery is a horrendous con. It was one of the biggest things I hated about it. That's why I got to make it number one. However, it was manageable and I was able to solve this issue. But I don't like it that Orcam advertises it as a completely wireless device. It really is not, if you think about it. If you're willing to use it for 20 minutes, if you're going to read the paper, the newspaper, or a book, you're lucky to get 10 to 15 minutes. And I don't want Orcam to get mad at me for saying that. Sorry, Orcam, it's true. So I was, with settings, able to make it longer. So in their defense, I could say 25, 30 minutes tops in continuous use. 2, face recognition. Now, face recognition is amazing on this device when you enter the individual into the Orcam. However, it takes a while to get certain individuals into the device. Not only do you have to worry about low light settings, you have to worry about many other things. And if you're completely out of vision, then this could be a real challenge. But you will get it. I mean, everything takes practice. But when it comes to me, certain individuals, I had a really hard time getting entered into the facial recognition on this device. For instance, my neighbor, she's got blonde hair and very light complexion and everything. But her husband has dark hair with a beard, facial hair that's dark, so he had a lot of contrast to his face and all that. It entered him in, no problem. His wife, not at all. So that is an example, okay? So facial recognition, I had some problems with that. But when you get it entered, it takes time, have patience, you get it entered, works just like a charm. It'll know them from afar every single time. 3, low light situations. Low lighting is a killer for this device. It does not work good in low light situations, and it will not work every single time flawlessly. You will have a hard time reading certain things in low light. Yes, it has a flash on it, but sometimes the light can actually burden the device, and it can get really obnoxious and annoying at times. Certain areas, no matter what you do, you have a hard time doing certain things. So low lighting can really affect it badly. However, it's weird because sometimes it might work good. It all depends on the environment you're at. But like I said, it takes patience, have time, you can get through it. But that's probably one of the other biggest flaws of this device. It will time and time again not want to work in low light situations, especially when it comes to my next one. Number 4, colors. This thing, it took me forever to figure out how to determine colors with the device. It has to be a perfectly lit situation for that device to understand the colors. I thought maybe I had a setting because I just could not for the life of me get it to work. But eventually, with practice, I figured out how to do colors. But it's not a flawless thing. I'm telling you right now, I rarely use it. I'd rather use my pen friend and potentially get like an NFC sticker that can adhere to fabric. That would probably be better than the Orcam. So yeah, it does work, but in my opinion, it doesn't work good enough. It needs work. But that again might take practice, but it's been months and I still haven't been able to do it pretty good. And I have friends that have the Orcam and they said the same thing. They still cannot figure out the colors. It's just one of those things that has to be done perfect in the perfect lighting, and it's just not good enough. Number 5. Now this is going to be my last con, but it explains a lot of the cons on this device. So when you're in a public place like a clothing store or a Walmart or even a supermarket, and there's too much going on at once, this thing with automatic settings set up will start reading everything. It will think everything's your knuckles. It will think everything's your fingers. It will think everything could be a face. I've even had it say a person's face. As flawless as the face recognition can be, it still will throw a little error here and there by, thinking something someone it knows. But, however, when a person does get in front of this thing, it always recognizes them. So you might find yourself in the middle of the store being, hearing, John is in front of you, and you'll be like, John? Where's John? John? And you're just looking like the village idiot with your hands in the air saying hi to nobody. So, but that has not happened often. What has happened often is I'll be in the middle of a clothing store or where there's a whole bunch of racks of clothes, and I'm just looking around the room, and the Orcam's going off every 2 seconds, saying the time and date, trying to even read barcodes. It will get off. Like if you turn near a pair of pants and there's a sticker on it with a barcode, and you don't realizing, because you can't see good, where your face is directed, it will read off a random barcode if it comes into view. But the good news, people, is that you can go into the settings, which I am going to show you in another video, and you can turn all these automatic features off so that it only does it when you ask. And that is a positive and a plus, and it saves the battery. And I mean, most of these cons can be remedied. So all in all, I think this is a great device, and I highly recommend it. I have to say, with technology the way it's going, I got this device at a weird time. So I got this device when on Android you still had to pay $100 for an application that can read any document you want. You had to pay for it to look through your phone and read a color, stuff like that. However, nowadays, like, I own the Google Pixel 3 XL, and let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a review on that phone, because it's the most accessible Android phone I have owned yet, and I think it's got to be the most accessible Android on the market. I love it to death. But I have Google Lens on there, and it has a document reader, and it does a whole bunch of other stuff for free, which I didn't have to pay for. So these things are catching up to the Orcam, to be honest. So is the Orcam worth the $4,000, $4,500? I still think it is. I know it sounds stupid, I just contradicted myself, but I really do. Like, if this, if whatever state you live in provided an Orcam to each and every individual that was of low vision or registered as legally blind or even dyslexic, you would change a lot in their lives with this device. And really, for the amount of money we have to spend on certain devices, like, your digital magnifiers, your CRT TVs that are worth, $5,000 or more, and other devices, that crazy. So this device it's from Israel, and the technology is pretty advanced, I feel, for what's in such a little tiny device. And the best thing is, it's connected to Wi-Fi if you choose it to be for updates and all that. However, it's not connected to a source. So nobody's filming what you're doing on your daily activities. Nobody's knowing what you're saying. It's not, relaying all this information to somebody, some third party like your phone would be. This is all self-maintained. And another thing is, it is very small, so you can forget to take it with you at times. That was my biggest con myself with this device. I would leave it in my house instead of taking it with me, and then I'd get somewhere and be like, man, I forgot it again. And mainly because I don't want to leave a $4,000 device in a car. It could get stolen. I don't want to do that. So if I leave it in there, then, it can be hit to the elements of cold, it could be hit to the elements of thievery, stuff like that. So I did buy a fanny pack. Yes, I said it. I bought a fanny pack for this device, and I can put the device into this pack and carry it with me around my chest or on my back. So the one I have looks like a teardrop, and it's very tactical, so it looks like a military bag, which is awesome. And I got it on Amazon for like $20. So I'll put a link down below in the description page so that if you want this fanny pack, you can get it for the Orcam. It fits everything in there, from the external battery to the wiring to my glasses in its case and everything, and still have like 6 other pockets to spare, so with nothing in them. And it fits comfortably. It's not like heavy or anything. Don't even know it's there. So, do I like the Orcam, everybody? I love the Orcam. Do I recommend it? Highly recommend it. Even with its cons, I highly recommend it. It's amazing. Alright everybody, that's my video for part 1. We're going to also have a part 2 and a part 3 coming your way. So if you want those, you got to ring that bell for all notifications so that you can get the next 2 videos when they come up and are uploaded. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and definitely leave a comment down below. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any criticism, any critiques, is there anything I didn't say that you wanted to know, ask me and I will guaranteed answer you back. I always listen to the comments and I always reply. So thank you guys so much. See you in the next video.